And for the coaches, for the staff, they all trust in you, and you need to trust in them. Trust had a different way of teaching in every branch of the service. If you were a Marine on foot patrol, you needed to trust all the rest of your platoon or all the rest of your recon outfit where they were. You didn't want to take care of them. If you were a foxhole in the Army, you needed to trust all those others that were in similar foxholes where you were. If you were on a ship, your job was very important or you wouldn't be there. And you had to trust each other that those running the nuclear machines knew what they were doing and your commander knew what he was doing. Formation flying. This was a different type of trust. But yet, we would have 3-ship, 5-ship formations, and we would fly less than a rotor's difference, close to each other. That's less than a 10-yard in football. And when you're going 90 miles an hour, it's a little bit different than even the stock car racers because they have their feet on the ground for their tires. We didn't. We just had our machines. Aerial refueling in the Air Force, that boom that connects two airplanes is only 28 feet long. That's less than a first down, 10 yards. Both the refueling and the craft being refueled had to be the same airspeed, which is about 150 miles an hour. They have to be at the same altitude. And they can't be messing around with their controls while they're hooked up to a machine that can pump 11,000 gallons of fuel a minute. You had to have that trust because it was vital. If you didn't, your life and everybody else's were depending on that. The second characteristic is discipline. Now, students learn from either their parents or in school by rewarding good behavior, and most of you, and some of you already have had, Mrs. Wilkes for English. And if you didn't obey the rules, if you didn't do your classwork, there was consequences to be paid. Discipline in the service was taught in many different ways. A couple of them, nobody in uniform wants a Article 15. That's disciplinary action, but it goes on your record. And nobody wanted a court-martial. So we knew if we didn't toe the line, we would be in trouble. But even the Army had a little medal that if you were good for 3 years with no Article 15 court-martials, you'd get a ribbon. That was for 3 years without making a mistake. So if we do the correct, have the discipline, we don't have to worry about the consequences of doing something wrong. The third characteristic is confidence. Confidence is knowing that you can do what you were assigned to do and do it well. How do we learn confidence? By doing this task the same time over and over and over again. In sports, how many times do you run the same play? Over and over. If you work in a factory, how many times do you make the same part? Over and over. If you're in construction, and I had the privilege to talk to a young man in class this morning, And when you go to build a house, you don't put the partitions up before you lay the foundation. There's a process that you do, and you do it the same every time. You are out on the farm. You start that harvester the same way every time. If you don't, you may be injured. So the confidence that you have was demonstrated when my platoon flight officer said that I could be a PIC, pilot in command. That meant that any mission that the Army would give me that I could do. Talk about confidence. One thing I'd like to encourage the students back there on the bleachers, don't think that just because you are from a small town in middle Illinois, that hey, I couldn't do those things. But I was from a small high school, and I learned to fly helicopters. My son graduated from the same high school. He became a dive officer on a nuclear submarine. And my granddaughter graduated in 2018, just down this road here in Metamora. Don't ever sell yourself short of what you can do. And as a guest speaker in English classes this morning, Mr. Dobbs gave the same characteristics that even if you're from high school with 1,800 people or a high school here with 147, don't give up on your dream. You can do what you want to. And that's where trust, discipline, and confidence come in. Now, the Army told us that for every individual soldier on the front line, there were 10 others behind, making sure he got paid, making sure he got fed, making sure he had the right equipment. Today, we have to appreciate those who support us. Where would we be today if we couldn't have confidence and trust from the clerk in the grocery store, or the bank teller, or the doctor, or the nurse? You get the connection here that everyone in this room has a support system, and you need to be able to do that so that you can appreciate what you do, what you have. I appreciated the sergeant who kept my flight records, and it was not an easy task. If you think that some of the flights were only a half an hour, and how many flight records he had to keep track of for my 937 hours of flight time. And then that crew chief, man who kept the books, the log books for the aircraft, and did most of the maintenance. If you didn't have those supporting people, you were not going to complete the mission that you've been assigned. Where does one receive this training? Parents, school teachers, respected community leaders, religious leaders, and yes, even you can learn these things in the military service. So don't cut yourself short. One needs to be attentive as to the appropriate basic ideas that we learn. And the veterans here today know these traits. They were taught them. And today they honor the flag, national anthem, and each other. We may have come from different branches of the service, but we are all veterans of this great country. I don't know how this is gonna work, but if you don't have to stand, but we're gonna try to say, God bless America. God bless America.
Thank you, Mr. Boyd. Your comments are very meaningful to all of us, and thank you for your leadership in the song, sing along there. We appreciate your time. Now we will hear from RBHS student Avery Alford as she recognizes the service branch song.
Veterans, please stand as the song honoring the branch of service. The Army.
In the desert sand, there's a man tending guard at his station. Each night and day, giving his life for me, and he serves a beautiful station.
In Flanders fields, the poppies glow between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the lark still bravely singing fly. Garrets serve amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, felt sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from falling hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us to die, we shall not sleep though poppies grow in Flanders too.
Thank you, Amanda. All who are able, please stand as we retreat to the colors. Thank you so much, everyone. Now, please join us outside for the 21-gun salute. Students, please stay back until members of the community have exited the gym. And then afterwards, all veterans are invited to have lunch in the library. Again, thank you for being here with us today.